No, it looks like we're rolling A-okay.
Okay, we're gonna go with your eyeball on this one, all right?
Oh yes, the person that has the we both have astigmatism. I go with the person that has the astigmatism, going for you're in charge of eyeballing this thing. Like I got a football instead of a soccer ball for an eyeball.
Me, you. A, B, C, D, E.
Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Blah, blah, blah. So, coming to you from a dumpy little garage in the San Fernando Valley.
I'm Brandon, he's Ryan, and this is Bridging Otacos. Yay. I was going to say we're back. We've been back.
Yeah, we've been back. We just haven't been consistent.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
we're getting better at it.
We are getting better.
We're getting better at it.
Finding a good groove and a good schedule.
Dumpy little garage is actually usable now.
Oh my goodness, it was an absolute clutter in here.
Yeah.
Then everything got cleaned.
Yeah.
And we have leg room.
I can't function without things going where they need to go.
Would you be one of those guys where, for example, if you had like a wall of wrenches, you would do an outline of the wrench to know which one goes into each spot?
I wouldn't do an outline, but I would definitely do it by like size, like largest to smallest or something.
So you wouldn't go Wasabi's level of like has to be organized from Big Hero 6?
No, not that level, but
you can understand him.
Yeah, I could. Like, put it this way: my sock and underwear drawer has cubbies. So I could roll the sock into each cubby so I don't lose my pairs, because it drives me nuts when I can't have a sock and there's no buddy for it.
I just put on two different socks. Like, okay, like it's the difference like when it's like extra wool or it's like a sports sock. If it's like two sports socks that maybe aren't the exact pair but like they're the same brand, I'll still wear them. That's kind of technically what I'm doing right now.
So you're also the one that does the toilet paper on the underside. Huh?
No, whenever it comes to me with toilet paper, I literally just throw it on there. Whether it's over or under, I'm just like, I just need a wipe. Just throw it on there.
You just don't discriminate, do you?
No, I don't.
Just take whatever's there.
Yep.
Whatever's given to you.
Dude, you know what? It's going to grab my crap either way, whether it's over or under. You have one job, and that's to clean until I get a bidet.
Oh, speaking of bidets, dude, Japan, the bidets are on like, they're on like a different planet.
Dude, you have the toilet that opens up to you. It's just like, konnichiwa. What did they say?
I didn't have anything that talked to me.
Oh, really? You didn't have like that level? They said that like you can know the level of bouginess when it comes to like toilets on like the angle of tilt.
Really?
Like I saw like a meme on something like that. So it was like if it's a flat toilet, like it's like okay.
I believe it, because there's some where you sit and you're like, nothing's coming out because this is like uncomfortable.
You're like,
I believe it.
If I put my feet up, I'm sliding off.
You know, I know apparently you're supposed to have your feet elevated
when you poop.
I did not know that.
Yeah, my friend has a little stool in his restroom.
Apparently, like people that have like stomach issues, their doctors will tell them, "Oh, get a stool and put your feet up on it." And 90% of the time, their problem is solved. I'm just like, okay, so then what were we supposed to do in the wild? Like we find a rock and like.
It's just
if
like
you're squatting, you're definitely lower, right?
Like say here's a tree here, and then you have like the rock there, and you're just like, okay, I'm doing that workout here.
It's like he's over there like you're over there like planking. What's he taking a poop?
Oh, okay. I remember in school when planking was a phenomenon. Do you remember when planking was like a phenomenon?
Gosh, I was out of. Well, they know my age by now.
Yeah.
But I was out of school by then.
Oh, that was going on. Was that middle school or high school? But I remember like planking was like everywhere, and we used to plank. We would plank on like the outside of one of the teachers' like rails or whatever.
I wonder if did my brother do that? I think he might have. I think my brother Josh might have done that. But even he's my youngest brother, and he's still older than you too. Oh, speaking of age, it's Brandon's birthday today.
Yay! As of recording. Again, hence pastel.
Pastel. Yeah.
And my face isn't covered in it because I only have one.
He wanted me to get these. They look like you use them to wash dishes.
It's just a little.
It's like what is this?
Sponge. Sorry.
See, it's not
butter pound cake.
Butter pound cake.
Butter pound cake. It looks like a loaf of bread. That's the thing.
But it's good.
It's squishy.
It is good.
It's like it probably goes really good with coffee.
Hence why I have coffee.
Exactly.
I love coffee. I'm a coffee guy. If you guys want to send me free coffee, I will not be opposed to it.
Or go support Jacksepticeye with Top of the Morning Coffee. He's a YouTuber I've watched for ages that does gaming content. And he loves coffee too. So he started his own coffee brand.
Don't support him. Send it to me.
Send Ryan a bag of Top of the Morning coffee.
Or how about Top of the Morning? Let's get together. You can come to my dumpy little garage.
If that would happen, that would be insane.
We'll play video games.
Dude, like
We'll play your Smash Bros version. Your
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
We still have to do Mario Kart. It would be so much fun. I was also thinking like another.
What do with the sake I have?
Ooh, that would be fun. Well, because the thing is, with Mario Kart, it's not like you're necessarily getting drunk and driving. It's the challenge of having to chug a beer. So it's like it's both. It's like with sake, you just go whew, and bada bing, bada boom. As far as I know. But with the beer, it's like the whole thing. If you do it with carbonated soda like Sprite, do not do it on an empty stomach. The first time I did it, thank God we had like dirty Chinese food. So we like had like a bunch of rice, a bunch of chicken.
Dude, I don't know why I've been craving. You said that Chinese. I've been craving Chinese food for so long, and because my wife's pregnant, she's like, she is not feeling Chinese food. I'm about to just go by myself because I like Chinese food. And I don't know. Like strangely, when I was in Japan, I craved Chinese food. When I was just, I don't know why. Huh. Well, again, we're talking about American Chinese food,
yeah.
Because real Chinese food, I don't know. I don't even know if I could do it. It's very like slimy.
Oh,
it's different. It's different textures,
and all that stuff.
Different vegetables. It's like, I've seen it. I'm like, that does not look like anything we eat here.
No, it does not. It's really interesting, like all the different cultures, like specifically what they eat.
Yeah.
And then there's England.
Yeah.
Beans on toast.
I was like, okay. I was like completely.
We're like all these.
I was like Eastern Hemisphere of the planet, and you went England. Like,
it's just like all this.
I just took a flight like instantly.
You're like, I'm getting jet lag from that comment.
For real.
Because it's just like, again, you conquer most of the known world. It is in your British Empire, and you use none of it. Just salt and pepper. None of these spices. None of these other things. And people are like, but England has such a great culinary like mark or whatever. It's like, well, because it's French food, or it's Asian food, or it's Indian food. It's not English food. Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't mind some fish and chips or like
That's English?
Yeah, fish and chips is English. Or go to Greg's and go get like a sandwich or something, or just maybe a they had like sausages that were also like not deep fried. I forget what they were called, but those things were pretty good. Like, you go to England, go to Greg's, get some snacks there.
Really thought to like think like, what is English food? I just figured it's food that like, because the Americans were basically the English came over here, right? Mm-hmm. So I figured like, oh, it's the same thing, just they use different ingredients because they didn't have the same stuff that they had from the crown over there in Britain.
And from the crown, from the motherland. What was it? Hail Britannia.
So anyway, it's his birthday.
It's my birthday.
23. Well, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to burn him out. But he said it. Okay.
Yeah, 23 as the time of recording for this one.
23 years young, man.
I'm a baby. Am I gonna keep that in? We'll see in post.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
You're not a baby.
I'm a young adult.
You're not a young adult anymore.
That's true. I have to start being responsible.
You're just an adult.
I'm an adult. It's just like, we need an adult in this situation. Where? Oh, shoot, I'm one.
Dang it.
It's like, I have to be responsible. No.
Remember, what did we talk about? What is maturity?
Doing the things you don't want to do.
That's literally all it is. When you think about it, like, I am mature now. Like, okay, it's because you do all the things you do not want to do. Mm-hmm. Kids, they're like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, why? Because I don't want to. And they just sit down and watch TV.
I don't want ya.
Eat your vegetables. No, why? I don't want to.
I cannot wait till...
Imagine me, like, don't eat your vegetables. No. I'll be like, I need vegetables.
You're like, give me my multivitamin.
I can't. Everything's stuck.
I need my B12.
Oh my gosh. I need my 5 minutes of sunlight per day. At minimum.
At minimum. Just sits out there with the like the mirror thing, like in all those like old movies. Just
like
yes.
Lightning McQueen.
Yes.
He's like, you need your nap. I don't need a nap. Take a nap. No.
Takes a nap.
How do you feel? I feel pretty good.
I can just picture you and your little one just like, go ahead, take a nap. No, yeah. No. Ryan, take a nap. No.
There has been times where she's like, just like, no nap. And I'm like, go to sleep. And I'm like, we're trying to knock her out. Mm-hmm. And then she falls asleep and I'm like, that looks so nice.
just like gone.
Head back. I'm like, oh. She's been asleep for 45 minutes. Dang it. Like she's literally but she'll chill on me, which is good. It's a good thing. Mm-hmm. We're super lucky. She's a good napper and she's a good sleeper. So
Wombo combo.
Can't
right
ask
there.
for more. Oh, and she eats everything, so can't really ask for more than that.
You're good.
Yep. But yeah, man. So what? Anything planned for your birthday?
Probably. Well, my friends and I are gonna meet tomorrow because a few of them are coming in around the area that I live. So it's like, okay, we might go get some Korean barbecue. See that. If I wake up on time, maybe like 20, 30 minutes from where I live, there's like an archery range. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go give that a shot. 'Cause I always wanted to try archery because it's just cool in my
Archery is
opinion.
cool. I want to do it too.
There's like no reason. It's like shoot a bow and arrow. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you? That's like I feel connected to my ancestors. Well, maybe not if you're from Britain. They didn't shoot bow and arrows. They shot the ones with the bow and arrows.
No, they had longbows.
Did they?
Yeah, they had long because it was during a medieval period, so they would have longbows.
Cut that out so I don't sound like a
Would you look that and state it?
That's
the editorial power. Because there's this YouTube channel I watch called Shadiversity, which is some guys that are based in England. They're the biggest sword enthusiast channel on YouTube.
Oh wait, I think I've seen them pop up. Mm-hmm. They just do like different types of sword fighting, right? Stuff like that.
They review different types of sword fightings. They review different types of swords. They talk about like some of the history with it. His most popular one was like, is like a double-sided sword actually like plausible? Because like inspired by Darth Maul. But that was like maybe like 7 years ago.
I didn't even think about that. They think about that stuff when they do these sci-fis? I really don't think... I think the fans think way harder about the characters and the scene and what's actually going on than the actual creators.
I have a perfect example. I forget where I saw it, but it was like this guy at a film festival. He was like, oh my goodness, we have to shoot something. But the thing is, like, the film for like in color was so much more expensive than it was in black and white.
Yeah.
Or like a certain type of like texture to it. Texture to film. So he used the cheaper version of it. And then he like filmed it, released it, and then the critics are like, oh my goodness, the color choice was absolutely amazing. The film choice that they used, because it really described this character, how it was, like this and that. In the back of his head, he's like, no, we did that because it was cheaper, but we'll go with what you said.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that's exactly what we thought.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my goodness, so glad they
Like,
can see our masterpiece.
Exactly. Like, I read this article recently of, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Put it in the right here or something. The creator of Gundam. Mm-hmm. So he, Gundam. He scrutinized some of George Lucas's creative aspects to Star Wars.
In what way?
The original. Because he goes, Gundam does it, it's a tagline, it's catchy, Gundam does it better than Star Wars, right? And it's because of the, I guess the backstory and the world that both stories kind of have similar
Background?
environments, right? They're in space, there's colonies, there's spaceships, there's different worlds, there's a war going on. Whereas in Star Wars, yes, it's a war, but they don't really, what the article said, this is not what I believe, but what the article said is that Lucas did a bad job of explaining the how to the war. When you think about it, it's kind of right. How does the Empire have so much resources and money to build a Death Star?
If we're just looking at the original trilogy.
Right?
Yes.
And how does it equivalate to, fighting an existing power, which is the Republic? Right?
Well, the Rebel Alliance and the Republic are two different time periods, but
we're talking about like they're fighting against the Republic, right?
The Empire?
Yeah.
The Empire is fighting against the Rebel Alliance. It's the Separatists that fight against the Republic.
Okay. Well, see, that's the other thing. It's I guess it's confusing, right?
Right.
Because there's so many different aspects to it that's what he's saying. Is like with Gundam, you have different things going on, but you could tell which ones are which right away, right? You have the Earth Alliance, Federation, and you have Mars, and you have the colonies, and that's it, right? And I don't even think the original Gundam has colonies. I think that's Wing that brings out the colonies.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong because I don't remember every episode from the original one.
Yeah, because yes, Gundam Wing does bring up the whole colonies thing. Slight spoiler, because the girl's dad gets assassinated because he's from the colonies.
Yeah,
like the representative.
Yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. I was just saying that we read into it way more than like I'm sure Lucas was like, yeah, like I made this concept and this idea because it was cool. Mm-hmm. It's plain and simple, right? No one does it because they think like it's gonna become this whole world in itself, right? Like Hold It Open does, but
when it starts out,
it's just an idea, right? It's like it's a baby. And then you got to mold it to something else. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's like, you know, the creator of Gundam was like, you know, he actually thought about all that. He thought about the backing of power, you know, materials. What is the Gundam made of? That's why we all know it as Gundamium alloy, right? It's like, oh, it's made of something that you can't get. It's special, right? And it's like, okay, he thought about that, and he thought about, okay, what kind of manufacturing processes would need to be developed, what kind of engineering needs to be behind it, you know, what fuels it, all kinds of stuff, right? So whereas what fuels all of the starfighters in Star Wars? I think they explain it in Clone Wars. I think they do. I think they figure out, like, I don't know if it's nuclear powered or if it's some kind of other cell.
I forget if it's fuel as well. Part of me was wishing you asked me a question where I'm like, maybe the little bit of Star Wars nerd that I am might be able to answer. But then you ask that thing, I'm like, ugh.
All the Star Wars people are going to be like, I know what it fuels in.
If you know what it is, put it down in the comments below. Yeah. And if you just want to nerd out on Star Wars, you are more than welcome to. Or Gun. If you want to just nerd out, you can nerd out in the comments below.
Like, and then, you know, some people were like, because they kind of came out around the same time. Like, Gundam came out in the 80s.
Okay.
And again, the Star Wars people are going to come at us, dude.
Did Star Wars come out in the 70s?
Star Wars come out before or after the 80s?
I think it was before. I think it was around the 70s.
Okay, so then people argue that the sabers for the Gundams were copied from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then he also said that why they're asking him why did you pick mechs? You know, you could have done this whole story, this whole thing without, you know, gigantic robots, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, because kids like to buy robots.
He had his priorities set. He's like, no. Toy sales. I need toy sales. Yeah. I need marketability to stay where it is.
Look at G. There's actually a place in Japan, G Unit, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's another one, Gundam Builders, or there's a bunch of them in Japan, right? Huge, like, Gunpla, like,
stores,
industries and stores, and it's like people make their own, like, Gundam, like, you know, like they get like down to like it's like circuitry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, like, yeah, like it's a lot,
which is crazy. Yeah. So would you say the creator of Gundam engineered?
He did not foresee that.
No. Do you think he well, I'll say what I mean by it. That he engineered his story and George Lucas designed it. And what I mean, you know what I mean by that.
I know, yeah, like he thought about the nuts and bolts to it, and Lucas just thought this is a really creative idea, and the original storyline is very good. Mm-hmm. And then things happened. Yeah.
Star Wars or Gundam? I'm assuming Star Wars.
Star Wars. Oh, Gundam.
No one talks about the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, not the sequel.
But.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's the prequel, original, sequels. No one talks about the sequels.
Yeah. But anyway.
But.
Your birthday is today.
Today, as of recording. I got, 2 more hours left in my day?
That's crazy, man.
One other thing I wanted to ask, since you've worked on cars, how annoying is it, the difference between the engineer's perspective and the designer's perspective? Because the designer's like, oh, we're going to design this beautiful car. We're going to have all these things, these certain places. And then the engineer's like, I have to fix this piece of crap, and I can't get to this one damn bolt without taking off this whole manifold. It's
equivalent to what we were just talking about. Like, you know, like, you have to think about it, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't, if you had a Lucas working for you, right? And he's like, this is beautiful. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful. But, like, how in the heck did we change a tire, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, well, you can't. You have to, like, change the whole quarter panel. It's like, well, that's like, you know. Other people would argue against that. They would say like, oh, if you could just, you know, there's this whole thing. I forget what the terms are for it, but like, basically you're getting rid of a car just like you're getting rid of a pair of shoes once it's overused. Okay. Right? So like they have like, which is like you buy it or you lease it, and then you use it, and then okay, it's getting worn out, and then you just trade in the whole thing for another new one.
Oh no, I see what you mean by that analogy.
And then they send that car off to be dismantled and recycled, and the parts used for other stuff, and yada 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 yada. And then that's a whole industry in itself. And then some people argue that's better because then now that car gets recycled back into the system, and because that's essentially what they do with shoes now. Like, you really think Nike and Vans and all them are using raw, brand new material all the time? No, there's no way. Because
you can't always be creating and then taking and then just
So they're always it's like a cycle now. So anyway, that's what they're trying to do with cars. So to answer your question, it's super annoying because I am not an engineer. But I would say at least 80% of my friends are.
Okay.
Right? And they've always told me, like, you should have just been an engineer. And I'm like, yeah, I like to draw. Well, you could have been a designer. And I was like, yeah, then we would not be friends. You know, because I would be like, oh, this looks good. And they'd be like, no, we can't do it that way. Why? Because X, Y, and Z, you know, this axis, this point is going to put too much load on this section. And then it'll make it break. And it'll cost too much. Right? We just want one bar. Like, well, one bar doesn't let me make the front end look like you know, slick. I have to make it wider. And it's like, yeah, you do. And it's like, well, it looks like garbage now. You know? So it's like, yeah, it's very annoying. And you still get cars where like you get them. Like, I'm trying to think of like the worst car I've ever worked on. It was definitely a German car.
That's what I've heard. I've heard like European cars are notorious.
I forgot it was an Audi. I don't know which one.
Okay.
It was like a earlier to like mid 2000s Audi, and dude, the engine bay had enough room to like get like the tip of my fingers into it.
Oh.
And like that's it. I'm like, how do you work on this thing?
Like, how would you even get like a socket wrench in there?
You can't, like, they actually have a toolkit for German vehicles that, like, the wrenches are, like, very thin. They have special, like, sockets. You know, they're not standard or metric. They're, like, different shapes and, like, sizes and stuff. Like, I know for, like, one for sure, like, on the German vehicles, like, I don't know about all German vehicles. I know for sure, like, on, like, I think it's Mercedes and, you know, Porsche, stuff like that. There's a special wrench they use to like open up the oil plug to change the oil.
Why do they have to go so above and beyond?
So you can't take it to like
any place
and just like, hey, you know, can you change my oil? There's places that do it now because they have the tools and everything, and you know,
makes it easier.
You have to let people go wherever they want. But yeah, it's very annoying, dude. Cars are crazy. I grew up with cars, loved cars. My uncles loved cars. My uncles, I never saw them, but my dad tells me stories. They would bring old, you know, trucks and lowriders and whatever into the backyard, and my uncles would airbrush the cars. And one of my uncles was so good that he would pinstripe by hand. So you ever seen like those old school lowriders and they have like pinstriping? He would do that by hand,
like
in his backyard in the garage, like this.
Damn. His own little W garage. Like Ramon from Cars, like how he would always change up and like kind of look.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't they was it LA County that they've just recently allowed like cruising as like legal again?
I've heard that they do that, but I haven't seen it.
I think I've seen it maybe around some places where I've driven by.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like those cars that you're like, oh, okay, these are like cruisers.
Here in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley, there's lots of areas that like lowriders like congregate. Typically they do it like on Sundays and stuff like that, and they have like, you know, they have their tents up and their banners and all that. And it's funny because they liked all that stuff. They liked like, you know, trucks and all that. And then I don't know where it came from. It's obviously part of the otaku culture, right? Like I had Japanese stuff, like I gravitated towards Japanese cars. I didn't even know some of these cars were Japanese until later, because I was a high school kid, you know. I was just like, oh, I like that car. And then I would look at it and be like, I like it, and then we go to the LA Auto Show, and I would go to the tuner section down underground, and or in the basement they called it, and then I would buy these cars, and I didn't know what they were, and then later I learned that some of the little, I don't have them anymore. My brother has them actually. He still has them.
Oh.
One's a black S14 Silvia, which if you don't know, it's Nissan. It's a Nissan. It's a Nissan 240 SX.
Oh,
but in Japan, it's called a Silvia.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's why. My brain is like, I swear I know this because I think they did an episode on Donut Media recently. Like somebody had one of those.
S14s are they're like known as drift cars, right? I had bought a GTR, a black one, and I didn't know that it was the R34.
Oh, I was gonna say, which one did you get of it?
Yeah, I think all the cars I liked were black at that time because I thought black was cool, and now I would never buy a black car in my life. My first car was black, and I hated that it was black, dude. Not that I don't think it looked good. It's just taking care of it is
a pain.
Insane. I'm just like, no. Like, I would wash it, I would wax it, and then I would go inside and come out, and I'm like, it looks dirty again. Like, I would get so mad. I'm like, I've never been a black car again in my life.
Dude, because I have a black car, and it's
if someone said, here's a black Lamborghini, I'd be like, no, I don't want it. I'm not kidding. I would say no.
I'll be honest. I think if somebody offered me a Lamborghini, I would still say no. Like, I know Lamborghini is like really nice, really cool cars. No. Just in general, I do not like Lamborghinis. Lamborghinis, Bugattis, Bentleys, those kind of cars. That does not.
What is your? If you can drive any exotic car, what would it be?
And okay, is Porsche?
Well, I gotta be careful. Hold on, the car guy. There's luxury cars. There's exotic cars. And then there's supercars, and then there's hypercars. So you gotta be careful.
Very careful.
Let's just say this: any pricey car. What is the one you would like if you had the money? Once this channel blows up and we can buy one. What do you want to like? What would it be?
Okay, if I had to choose like a bougie,
it can't be a GTR.
Car. I know.
It's not bougie. GTR is the dream car. GTR is the dream car, but it's not luxury.
If I had to choose a bougie car, oh wow, I'm surprised my brain went to one of those. Okay, one of the options that went to mind, even though I'm like, why the hell was a G-Wagon? It was one of the options that came to mind. Okay. Even though that's not like the bougiest, bougie people have
it's considered like what's crazy is like it's considered like entry level luxury.
Yeah, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, if I had to, it wouldn't be a Koenigsegg because I could not trust myself with one of those. Because that's a hypercar, I believe.
That's yeah. The Koenigsegg is a hyper. I don't know if it's a supercar or hypercar. It probably is a hypercar.
I think it rides the line.
Yeah, but it's not really luxury. It's more like it's more like race.
Yeah, that's why
it's considered racing luxury, I guess. But it's not. Okay, fine. But it counts though.
That's why I'm like,
it counts.
I'm like, it's a bougie car, but I'm like, I couldn't trust myself with that. I do love the look of the Aston Martin Valkyrie.
Oh, okay.
If you've ever seen that.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a nice car.
That's a nice one.
I do like the look of Aston Martins in general. Like, for example, well, I don't think it would be a luxury car. The Pacer car in Formula One, if you've ever seen it, it's an Aston Martin.
You're gravitating more towards the sporty side.
Yeah.
Which is still fine. Which is that's what I gravitate towards too.
Yeah, if you say expensive car, but
a lot of people would be like, oh, if you're not talking about a Maybach, then you're not talking about luxury.
A what?
A Maybach.
What's a Maybach?
Look it up.
I'll look it up if I have battery. But
put it up right here.
If I had to choose a
you've seen Transformers, right?
Yes, I have.
You see where he's like sitting in the back of the car and he goes, there ain't nothing like riding in a Maybach.
Oh my goodness, I've seen this emblem. Let me just see which cars it is. Oh, these ones.
That's what like
luxury,
like super ultra rich individuals, what they consider like luxury to be. And I'm sure there's cars that are way more luxurious than that, because apparently Bentleys come back up too, and Bentleys are nice too.
Bentleys are nice. I heard that Bentleys like most of their parts are Mercedes parts, so it's like.
I did not know that.
Or like there's one of these like really expensive luxury cars that the parts they use is from like a cheaper car. And they price it. They hike it up.
Keep in mind, I really don't even know where like Koenigsegg is like manufacturing their vehicle. Like I don't think they have their own manufacturing factory, and then they're making all their molds and their casts on their own and their tool. they're probably outsourcing a lot of manufacturing to like one of the big companies, which is Volkswagen, Mercedes,
Ferrari.
Well, in Europe, Ferrari, Renault.
Yeah, Renault.
And obviously GM, Ford. Like people don't realize that like GM and Ford, they're like, oh yeah, well, there's a lot of like, have you seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of like in Europe, they're like, oh, Americans just make cars just to like they make belts, like they just kick them out and they don't make like high quality stuff. Like some of the stuff that the U.S. companies have that they're making parts for are like ultimate hypercars. They're just not branded by them.
That's true. Did you see the I think it was a Chevy Camaro that raced in Le Mans. I don't know if it was this year or last year.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Dude, that thing was sick. Yeah. It would absolutely rip it down the straights, and then it could like actually like take the corners. And people were like, "What the hell with the American?" Like they were just surprised with the Americans.
Have you seen what they can build?
Terrible French accent.
Have you seen what they can build with the mid-engine Corvette C8?
Yeah, because isn't that one of the? It's in one of. Is it in the GT series? I know that it does race in one of the racing series.
I know that there's a... Is it a Formula 1? No, it's not Formula 1. There's no way it's Formula 1.
No. It's not Formula E. It might be GT3 or something like that.
I don't know, but there's a current C8 right now that it's at SEMA, which SEMA is going on right now while we're recording this. I don't know what it's competing in. I gotta look it up, but it's the first of its kind for Corvette, for GM, and dude, it's gonna be competing with like the big ones, Ferrari, Lotus, all the ones that have been there.
Fighting Lotus. Okay, Lotus's old Formula One cars from like if I remember correctly, Formula One fans, help me out here. I think it's like the 50s or 60s. It was like the nice green design with the engine on the back. You just see the is it the exhausts that like come out, or what was it from the engine?
They're called ITBs.
That thing. You just see that, and I'm like,
individual throttle bodies, or independent throttle bodies, one of the two.
And you just look at that, and you're like, oh, such a beautiful car. So
my brother just got back from Japan today.
Oh.
And he sent me a picture. He went to the Spoon Factory.
The Spoon Factory?
You don't know what that is?
I don't know what the Spoon
Brandon's
Factory
not a car guy.
I want to get into cars. That's the thing. Like, I want to get into
when
cars.
I say Mugen, what do you think?
Mugen?
Mugen.
Oh my gosh, Mugen Midnight. Or... I know it's the highway. Sorry, it's because there's an anime called Wangan Midnight that is based off that highway.
Okay, so Mugen must mean different things, but the only thing that any car guy will think of is Mugen Honda.
Mugen Honda. Okay, what am I thinking of with Wangan Midnight or Mugen Midnight?
Mugen Type R.
Yes, I'm wearing boots with shorts.
Do you know what a Type R is?
Yes, I know what Type R is.
What is it?
Type R is usually the racing spec of any sort of car.
Not so there could be car.
Well, Civic Type R is one of them.
But the Civic Type R was not the first one.
Oh gosh, wasn't it Acura that had the Type R?
Not Acura.
Donut Media, you were letting me down. James, I watched your bumper to bumper.
It's not Acura, it's Honda still. It's a Honda Integra DC2 Type R. Okay,
never mind. I'm thinking about Wangan. So there's this anime called Wangan Midnight that's about racing on the Wangan.
Mugen must mean something in Japanese because it's used in a lot of different things. Because Mugen Train is also a thing with I don't even know what it means. I just know that it's part of like Honda's branding for its racing.
Hijo de la chingada, it's a Type R.
Mugen, that's the new one. Oh my god, give me.
Fine, take my phone.
Let me show you.
Hijo de tu grande que la madre.
Wow. And you're showing the hatchback when I top it off. Garbage.
I'll be honest, I love hatchbacks. Hatchbacks have a soft spot for me. I love them. I love rally cars. Rally cars are the best. I almost was very tempted to get in a Ford Focus or Ford Fiesta. Which would have been bad because we all know what Ford stands for. Fix or repair daily.
First on race day?
First on race day. Has Ford been doing well on rally?
Have you seen what the Mustang rally? I don't know. Rally is not really racing. Rally's like
what do you mean rally's not? Okay.
Rally's like playing in the dirt.
I know.
You need to know how to manage traction on pavement for it to be like racing, dude. Like they can't hit the speeds that they hit on pavement.
Dude, have you seen the acceleration those cars?
They can. They're fast, but they're not as fast as pavement. There's no way a rally car is going faster than anyone on track.
We're gonna make a bet. Next episode, someone's gonna have to do a punishment. Because, okay, what is the name of that one rally thing where they race to the top of the mountain? But dude, there was like this. I think it was like a BMW or something. This was like in the 80s. Literally, it had the exact same horsepower as it weighed. Honda Integra Type R. Okay, it was not the Acura, it was the Honda Integra. So don't immediately...
In America, it is the Acura Integra. But that's not what it's... Real car guys are not going to call it an Acura, they're going to call it a Honda.
I'm not a real car guy yet, okay? I'm taking baby steps. You make me feel like a damn fool. I'm just going to sit here eating my cake. On my birthday, it'll make me cry.
Dude, when it comes to cars, like...
Oh, dude, trust me.
I've kind of... I'm never going to say I've hung up the keys for like racing or anything like that because I still love it. And I love Formula One. I love engineering. I love motors. I love all that stuff, man. I love tires screeching, all that stuff. I don't know. I keep blanking out because I'm thinking of like, it's going to go towards like floating freaking vehicles and everyone's going to be like capped out at like one speed or something like that. And we're all going to be controlled by a stupid ECU or something, you know?
Do you imagine freaking it's the Jetsons, but the car that flies is just a Prius?
That's literally what it's like. That's what they want, dude. That's what meaning the government. Right?
That would suck. But how you get with cars is probably how I would get with you when it comes to soccer. Mm-hmm. There's all these like little things.
Yeah, because soccer is huge, and I'm like not a soccer fan like at all. Mm-hmm. Soccer's like the world sport. I'm part of the world, and I don't watch it. So how is that possible?
Like, the world does not revolve around you. It revolves around football. You have coffee. You don't be choking on this thing again. He was dying earlier. Eating.
So dry.
Deal with it.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I just said it's dry.
I didn't say it was bad either. I just said deal with it.
Sponge my mouth.
There was a moment earlier where I had my mouth full and I was trying to finish a sentence. And I just mouthed, I don't know what words, and some hand motions. And he got exactly what I was talking about to a T.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
That's how you know we are same.
We are same.
We are same, son.
We have same brain cell. Oh my goodness! Have you ever heard those really creative insults for like people calling them like not the smartest? One of my favorite ones is like you have two brain cells that are fighting for third.
Wow.
Not saying that to you, but that is one of my favorite ways of saying somebody like you're not the brightest.
I love cars, man. I love cars. I love anything that has a motor, like minus a boat. But even then, like if I had a nice fishing boat, I'd probably get into it.
So you like Teslas?
It doesn't have a motor.
Oh yeah, true. It has a battery pack.
Yeah, it has a battery pack and a circuit.
And a circuit.
Okay. I don't like Teslas. I don't really like. I don't like 100% electric vehicles at all. At all. Hybrids are a different story.
Hybrids are useful.
Hybrids are probably the future, to be honest. And that's only because we have to meet certain requirements. And it's understandable, like we can't kill the planet. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot involved with electric cars that are like I don't like. Has nothing to do with their performance. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with how they look. It has everything to do with their process and their system. I can explain it if you want, but so manufacturing has been going on since the Industrial Revolution, right? They have essentially perfected, if not over perfected, the assembly line, right? To the point where Ford can kick out, man, I think one factory. One factory is dedicated to just making the F-250, and I think it kicks out 10,000 vehicles. I want to say a year, but I think it's more.
We'll fact check.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then they can pop out Fiestas like eggs. So just, like they just throw them out like it's nothing. When it comes to a Tesla, it's specifically Tesla, their manufacturing is different. It's very different. They use what's known as it's like a giant press, right? So they have like
the mold.
It's like a mold and it's a press and a piece of like aluminum, and they press out pieces of the vehicle. I'm assuming the hood, the sides, the trunk, all that, and then that all gets welded together. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they even weld it. I think they do, and then it goes onto a frame, or it gets welded onto a frame, and then you already have the electric motors in the chassis. Or the frame, whatever you want to call it. And then that's it. It's basically like a little Lego piece, right?
Oh, same that you
Play-Doh. Put together, yeah. And then that part of it, the manufacturing part, is very good because it's less work, it's less people, it's faster to manufacture, and I'm assuming it's probably less material too because those big pieces of aluminum that they're pressing out shapes, the excess of that's not being used, they could easily reuse it and make another mold for something. So it's just constant. There's like almost zero waste.
Okay.
When it comes to the old process, which is still good, but they have to mill out a lot of stuff, the cut and all that, and all those shards and shavings. Yeah, they reuse them and they could recycle them, but you're still going to have loss in that process. So that's one thing. That's a benefit to that type of vehicle. But the things that are not, and I've looked into this a lot, and people are going to say yes or no to this, but the batteries are worse than burning fossil fuels.
Because I've seen the videos of like Tesla batteries like lighting up, and those things
that's just the immediate danger to it.
Right.
But that's not, I mean, a car can light up too.
True.
Like with the gasoline, with the gas tank. But people use that as like the fear factor to it, right? Like, like the battery could explode. It's like, well, every car you drive is technically a bomb.
Oh my gosh, what was that one car like back in the day where it's like they said like, oh yeah, if you rear end it hard enough it would explode because like that's where the gas
I think
tank
it was the
Pinto.
Yeah, it was a Pinto, Ford Pinto.
Woo! I got it.
Yeah. And that one was doing it, which is scary.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, the Tesla. Yeah, the reason why I don't like it is because not because of the manufacturing, not because of the performance, not because of the way it looks, but because of how it runs. One, you need to charge it. Okay, and people are like, well, what's the big deal? Get a charger. Sure, I'll get a charger. And then if I don't find another Tesla charger, which everyone is trying to charge on them, right?
You're screwed.
And I gotta go somewhere. I'm screwed. I got or let's say there's an earthquake. We live in California, right?
Electrical shutoffs.
You think they're gonna leave all the power on just because we need to charge our cars? They could care less. They're gonna turn off the power to mitigate emergencies, right? And you're gonna be sitting there like this because you can't charge your car. Not only that, let's say your car is charged. It's connected to your Wi-Fi. You don't think that they can send out signals through your guys' Wi-Fi's
that would just lock
the car? I mean, they do it already.
Yeah, they already have, and how they get their updating their bugs.
Yeah.
What else? I was gonna say something. I was gonna say, do you think the equivalent to a jerry can for a Tesla is just being in a spare battery?
No, you haven't seen it?
No.
People are putting Honda gasoline generators in their trunks. It's like, if that's not a double standard, I don't know what it is, dude. Yeah, I'm just gonna put some gas in my mobile generator to run my car right now. Might as well just have a gas tank, dude.
Yeah.
But okay, and the argument is, and I've looked at all of the different arguments, people say that, and I would say too if I had one, that it's not about the product cleaning up the environment, right? It's about the system cleaning up the environment.
Right.
And it's like, okay, yes, they don't get, a lot of people don't understand this. Some people do, but a lot of them don't. The electricity that, these lights, everything that you're using to plug into your phone and plug into your car, where's it coming from? It's not magical static in the air.
No.
It's coming from factories that make electricity. And how are they making it? They're burning coal. So you're sucking in all this juice into your Tesla's the biggest batteries on the planet are in these vehicles, right? Not just Tesla, but other electric cars too. And you're using
the same,
if not more, harm to the environment from fossil fuels than a gasoline vehicle is. Now,
the irony.
What people will argue is that, okay, that's true, but they're also using that power to make gasoline, right? And it's like, true, okay. And then they'll go, okay, so now when I'm driving my vehicle, I'm not emitting emissions, so that means my carbon footprint is less than yours. Okay, it is while you're driving that car while it's brand new and okay. What happens when those batteries die?
They can't get recycled.
You can't recycle lithium. There is no process for it to get redone. So essentially, we're creating a secondary nuclear waste.
That's nuts.
You can't use it for anything after it's been depleted. You can't use it for anything.
And there's nowhere else to really send it.
So what do you think they're doing with it? Talk about the environment. What do you think they're doing with old lithium batteries? Especially these massive ones that go in the cars.
Dumps are just burning the excess of it?
They won't burn it because they will really go into the atmosphere, and then they really have no reason for carbon. So the only other option is what you just said.
Just dump it.
They're burying it. They're going out into the deserts. They're digging massive cemeteries, basically, and they're just burying it.
You know what's one thing that I was surprised that we haven't started doing, or when we might maybe start doing this, is just why don't we just shoot trash into space?
Well, that's nice. So when we actually go into the asteroid belt, we just have a bunch of garbage flying around.
It's just like you see a KFC bucket.
No, here is one thing that I really don't understand why they don't do this. We have this huge trash problem and everything, right? Like, we have our trash in the ocean. Well, I mean, at least in the United States, Japan was insanely clean. So why don't we just shoot the trash into the sun?
I was going to say, I'm like, it's not going to, if you aim the asteroid belt, it's going to aim the asteroid belt. If you aim the sun, it's just an incinerator.
Even if it doesn't make it to the sun, it's going to incinerate before it even reaches the sun because it's so freaking hot. So why not just send it into the sun? Like, okay, I'm not smart enough. Maybe the sun is so hot, there's some kind of gravity or heat vectoring that goes on, and the rockets with the trash won't reach it. And
the thing is,
I don't know, but I'm just saying, even so, that heat, that power would eventually, it would become back to molten whatever the first molecule is, right?
Well, I think the question is as well,
I think
if you engineer it, it's how much materials would it take to actually get a fleet or disposable rockets to just send up? Even though, SpaceX, they just had, the thrusters that were able to return.
They have reusable ones. My apologies. So it's just okay, maybe they're understanding that, and maybe that might be a step towards there. Because it's okay, people are like, well, let's not pollute space. It's space. It is an infinitely expanding space ever since the dawn of time. That we think.
No, it's actually still being proved that it is still expanding.
Yeah, but we think we're really smart when we're actually really dumb. So I'm just saying, you're not wrong. That is what they say. I'm just saying, how do we actually know that?
I don't know. I'm not smart enough for that.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, it's almost like it's the same concept of oh, we thought we were smart enough to industrialize the planet, right? We could control this. We can make it better. Now we're we don't even know how to fix it.
It's just so guys, with the original plan, didn't work.
Yeah.
Now what? Where's the emergency button?
Yeah, exactly. So my whole thing is like, I'm just like, I don't see how the sun cannot solve the garbage problem. Yeah, I know it'll cost money to send rockets up, whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, they spend so much money on everything else. And again, like you said, with Elon Musk, not Elon Musk, but his companies, SpaceX, those reusable rockets, they don't have to be launched into the sun. They just have to the trajectory to the sun, and then they release and then come back, right? Since they're reusable.
Because you just have to get outside of Earth's
that's what I'm assuming.
atmosphere.
I don't know if it's that easy, but I'm just saying that. And not only that, you might not even have to use rockets. I just read an article that said that they have a catapult that gets you out of orbit.
Oh,
like a slingshot.
Oh yeah. Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
This is my ADHD brain here. Do you know what is the fastest man-made? What is the fastest propelled object in human history?
Man flying out of a cannon?
Nope. A manhole cover. There was this thing that went wrong. We'll put the facts right. We'll put a literal manhole cover. I'll editor put it wherever, or fact check it, or our lovely audience Google it. Mm-hmm. So there was this explosion test or something. I forget the exact story, but this manhole cover literally escaped orbit in 13 seconds.
What?
It just went. Oh, I don't know why I said it so loud. It just went like just shot up. I was like, there is no way. And then I saw like a little visual of it, and I started laughing my head off. I'm like, there is no way this thing escaped Earth's atmosphere in 13 seconds. It just flew out of there. I'm like,
so I was thinking like, okay, so flying saucers are a thing then, because there's a design there. Hey, can you imagine what it sounded like? Just like, just sound like a high pitched whistle.
Dude, I'm surprised I didn't burn up as it was going, because it hit that speed.
That's some high engineered steel right there.
Dude, manhole covers, don't mess with them. That is one of my favorite pieces of knowledge. If it's wrong, so be it. It's funny just to visualize it.
That is funny.
Just that thing just going Mach whatever, just gone.
How fast?
13 seconds to be out, if I remember correctly.
13 seconds. I think it's 14 or 15 miles of atmosphere, and then you're out. So I don't math. Okay, I'm not an engineer. So
wait.
That would mean that it was probably going like, it was for sure going supersonic.
No, that's a railgun. Why am I going? Making car noises.
We're talking about cars?
Yeah, we're talking about Tesla. Let's see. The manhole cover launched during the 1957 Operation Plum Bob nuclear test is considered by many scientists by the fastest object ever made by humans. The manhole cover was launched at a speed of around 125,000 miles per hour, which is 5 times the speed at which Earth orbits the sun. A high-speed camera records the explosion at one frame.
So that thing is still just balling through space.
It just flies past the Voyager thing.
It is sewer lid.
Just a flying saucer sees it. They're trying to make communication with it.
It's just like in constant Kaioken. Just there's some ancient civilization out there like it's our comet. Like, what is it made of? It's just a fucking sewer lid. What are those ancient marking sewer? Can you, like, for real though, like, you know, like,
just
imagine
just tears through an asteroid in this way and just perfectly splits it in half.
Like, I wonder, like, is this still going?
Well, at the same time, there's no friction in space, so unless it grabs like
it's like reached a speed where like it's not even in this realm anymore.
Unless it got caught in a gravitational pull, that thing is just
it's in like other world or something.
There's only 2 things that can escape a black hole: light and that manhole cover.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like dark hole, like not me today.
Apparently, they have it on video. A high-speed camera recording the explosion at 1 frame per millisecond. And the manhole cover only appears in one... Wait, let me find the video of this. I think I saw the video. Made my absolute laugh.
So, yeah, if it left orbit, if it got through the asteroid belt, depending on how its trajectory was coming out of Earth, it's probably still going.
Let me see if I can find.
They should have put a sensor on that thing and really like seen like. Well,
Just
I mean
let
that
it
nuke
fly.
blast probably. Wait, but the fact that it didn't incinerate in the nuke blast either.
No, it just launched apparently.
Man, whatever that company must have every contract for manhole covers on the planet.
Just replace all the ones in New York. 1957.
Wow, that's a while ago.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the They say they have it on film
cold.
somewhere.
Now, see, we were roasting and now I'm starting to get cold.
How are you cold? I'm fine.
No, I'm cold.
Pansy. Oh, what little sissy. Okay, come on. Someone say that there's a video. I'll find the video. Yes, there should be. Yeah, if there wasn't, it wouldn't let me record.
Like,
oh my god, I would shoot myself. I would just stand in front of that manhole cover. I gotta find that video.
Dude, that would be like hilarious to be like if I knew that and I was like in charge of like a major anime production, like One Punch Man, and be like, you know, how he's like fast, he's like the fastest, be like Saitama's next training challenge would be like catching up
the frisbee,
catching up to the manhole cover.
The forbidden frisbee.
Yeah, he gets it. Oh my gosh,
that would be funny. Actually, I think one of the artists or the author of One Punch Man passed away recently.
Really?
I know like a famous mangaka passed away like a few days ago.
Oh.
We'll put it.
Anime has been like, how can I put this? Not bad. It's not bad.
No.
But it hasn't been impressing me lately.
That's what a lot of people were saying about this year, and that's what I thought too. Like, I looked at this year and I'm like, was Windbreaker this year or last year?
Windbreaker, I watched it this year.
I think it was this year, maybe.
Windbreaker, okay, I take that back. Windbreaker impressed me. So I can't say the anime didn't impress me. I would say I've expected more from existing franchises.
I would also say
that's what I would say.
I think this year, for me at least, has been and a lot of people have said this too from what I've seen, except for like
Attack on Titan finished this year too, right? Or was it last year?
I think it was last year.
Oh, I gotta look this stuff up.
But people were saying like it was such a weak year for anime. I'm like, I can completely agree with that. I'm like, there wasn't really anything that really was like, oh wow. You're kind of like, okay, there was a few, but like overall, it just felt kind of low, kind of like year. But anime,
like they did one good thing. Well, not one. They did a couple. They did it. I think what the issue is that we're seeing a lot of competition now, right? So our bars are set higher, their bars are set higher. And then we talked about this last time, but like you have to raise the bar without looking like you try too hard. You know what I mean? It has to be subtle transition with good writing and story and all that. And we talked about Naruto did it the best back in the 2000s, right? But this year, like Demon Slayer, I love Demon Slayer. I'll always say it's a great anime. As long as they really don't just butcher
the movies
somehow.
I'm worried about that.
I don't like that either. I don't like that they're ending the movies. Like it's really like it's almost like, oh, okay, we're over this. Like, you know, our numbers don't look the way we want them to look, so we're just gonna yeah, you know? That's what it feels like. Whereas I have to give respect to One Piece for that. Because even though they went through some rough water when they were on Toonami and all that stuff, like it was good, but like they were nowhere near as popular as they are now. I mean, I can't argue with it. I'm not a fan, but like, they're probably going to be chalked down as the greatest anime of all time.
I think even One Piece had like the first 1,000 chapters had its own exhibit in a museum, from what I heard.
What other anime has that? Not even Pokemon has that.
No, Pokemon. No, isn't
there might be some cards in museums, but that's about it.
Because I know Nintendo, I think it's Nintendo that they're opening their own museum in Kyoto, which I really want to go see. That's what was on my list. I'm like, there's something in Kyoto I want to do, but I just couldn't remember. Let's go to that museum. Apparently, somebody hacked the giant Game Boy that they had out front because it was such an oversight. But the way to hack into it, you literally just you get your phone and you had like certain adapter, you just plug it into it.
That's funny.
It's pretty damn funny. So,
but you have to know enough to know that will work. So
yeah,
it's not like you could just be like, I'm gonna try to plug it in. Like,
for context, earlier, I don't know if it was in the clip, but I was putting the wires for the receiver, and I'm like, oh, it's so annoying how the case has everything together except for the wire. And then Ryan looks at it, he's just like, oh yeah, because it's like this certain type of wire, and I'm like, nerd. You would go to that giant game where you're like, I know exactly what kind of cord that is, and just like goes through a Rolodex of cords.
And which I do, it's the box of cords in there.
I know you have a huge thing over there.
Did you say earlier, like, why is there a landline on this?
Yeah, there's a landline over there. I'm like, who the hell still has a landline?
Dude, there's so many people on there right now. Teenagers, kids are like, what's a landline? Aren't all lines on land?
So I just saw that thing and I'm like, okay.
You remember the sound?
Dial-up?
Yeah.
Well, I know the sound of dial-up. I just never used dial-up.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. No, for me to use the computer, I used to have to go to the local library. And I used to play this one Sonic game where it was like Sonic and Blaze. I forget what it was called, but I remember playing it for like as much time as I could on the library computer. I'll go maybe like tired. 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is slightly late. But one thing that came to mind when we were talking about cars was how you went to JDM. I think it's just like people my generation, if you want to get into cars or like something, like you watch the first Fast and the Furious, you see Paul Walker Supra or you see, I almost said Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel's Dodge, and that's where you choose if you want American Muscle or JDM.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's where I choose. I was getting into cars before Fast and Furious came out. And then it came out and I was like, I don't know. I liked the refined look and the refinement of the Japanese cars without even knowing they were Japanese cars.
You're just like, this is cool.
Yeah, I just thought that they were, I don't know. I just thought they were better. I just thought they were better. Like I can't put it any other way than that. And in my mind, they still are. But muscle car, my dad loves muscle cars.
Muscle cars are very nice. They're really cool.
Yeah.
I think the difference is JDM cars are like very sleek, and then like muscle cars can be very boxy.
JDM, Japanese cars in general are very advanced. Like now you have like Tesla, like we were talking about. Oh, again, we don't like Teslas.
Especially
I forgot about that. How do we get off of that?
Especially most Tesla drivers. Like, here's the thing: you like, don't help yourself.
If you
sometimes.
think your car is gonna drive itself, and you want it to drive itself, you probably shouldn't be a driver.
And like that's the crazy thing.
Like, come on, like you're in a vehicle, so you could drive it, not so you could be driven. If you want to be driven,
get a taxi,
or take the bus or the train. Right? Like
it's crazy how easily nowadays people are willing to like relinquish control of things. You're like, oh yeah, I don't want to drive a car anymore. I'll do the Tesla. Like having an automatic gear shift, like, okay, that makes sense. It's because trust me, I'm not going to be sitting there saying, oh my gosh, manual standard is the absolute best when you're in traffic going first gear, second gear, brake. First gear. Oh, no, second gear.
Right.
Okay, third gear.
Clutch is bad.
Second gear. I'm just like, it's just like your clutch doesn't grab. You're there. You're like, screw it. Just go first gear, second gear, put it in neutral, and just coast and pray to God you don't have to brake or speed
up.
Just like, yep.
Is that me?
You're like, something's burning. Is it my head gasket? So it's just like, I can understand it, but the more and more people are able to relinquish control nowadays to things is just insane. Like we were talking earlier too, like Amazon Home, where you're like, oh yes, just open your garage, have someone put something inside. They're gonna close your garage. I'm like, I'm not gonna let some random person in my house. Ryan was saying the same thing too. It's like, why would you let that? And one that absolutely baffles my mind is like Alexa emergency services.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Apparently, like on Amazon, like Home or Echoes or something, like I don't know which it is exactly. Editor, do your job. They have this thing where it's just like the commercial is like this kid puts like a pizza in the oven, forgets about it, and it starts flaming. He's like, Alexa, call 911. I'm like, can't you just?
There's so many things wrong with that. Like I can't even. Like the first thing is, if there's a commercial showing that, first thing it should be because it's actually teaching kids to be like, oh, depend on the on the technology.
Yeah.
Right? Which, okay, what if the fire burned the Wi-Fi router? What if it started at the router?
Then you're
Alexa's dead.
Alexa is no more.
Right?
We have cremated her.
Hello.
So
it should be like, oh, fire. Oh, first instinct, extinguisher.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it should be.
Good thing you didn't say water, because that would be an electrical fire.
Dude, like, there's so many things wrong. I can't believe they even got approved by, like, for airtime, because it is teaching them to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I learned that in grade school. You have a fire, you run to the extinguisher if you can get to it in time. If it's bigger than a certain amount of things, like a certain size, if it's engulfing an entire room, you just leave the house.
Yeah.
You get out of the house. That was what they taught us. That was it.
And then now it's just
house burns.
House burns.
Not just sitting there going, Alexa.
Alexa, call 911. Do you want me to call your pediatrician? Alexa, 911. Alexa, how do you treat third-degree burns?
So anyway, yeah, relinquishing control, dude. Yeah, that's bad.
Like,
man, I didn't know they do that. That's ridiculous.
So it's just like, that's one thing I have. That's like one gripe I have with Teslas, where it's just like, again, performance-wise, pretty damn good cars.
Their performance is good.
Performance is good.
Not for racing, though.
No, they have very good acceleration.
They're going to go, everyone's going to be like, race me then. Be like, dude, race me on a racetrack for 20 laps and tell me how well your Tesla does.
Yeah, you can race him IRL. I'm the video gamer.
I would say your brakes last 2 laps.
Probably. Yeah, because wasn't there this whole thing where Tesla's like, oh yeah, I can out-drag like a Porsche GT3.
Yeah, but a drag race is not racing.
No. Do you know the actual thing behind the commercial? Where it's like Tesla's like, oh, we can out-drag a Porsche GT3 while towing a Porsche GT3.
Was that a Cybertruck?
Or it was a Cybertruck? It was
so.
a Tesla. It was a Tesla model sort of vehicle.
Okay.
They did that. They won. You look at the markings, they didn't do the quarter mile. They did 75% of the quarter mile, and they said it was the quarter mile.
Because they probably topped out.
And then the
Porsche would have accelerated past it. Yeah.
So it's just like, not helping yourself there.
I mean,
the one thing,
there is absolutely performance, power, and speed advantages to electric motors. 100%. Which is why Formula One uses hybrid motors now.
They're going to be trying to, isn't it for the 2026 season, they're trying to make a bigger battery now and rely less on fuel and now more electrical?
I haven't looked into it, but probably because
I could be a big F1 nerd. The regulation 2026 would be interesting.
Like, and the hustle thing is like, people think like, oh, racing's stupid, this and that, it's dangerous, what's the point? You don't push technology forward without challenge. And the only way you get challenge is with competition. Mm-hmm. And that's why we have this stuff, you know? Like you think like we learn how to ride horses just because we're like, we're just bored? No, it was a competition. People learn to ride horses because if you rode a horse, you were a better warrior. Okay, well then the other side learned to ride horses. Now, okay, well who could ride the horse better? Who could fight on the horse better? Who could use a bow and arrow from the horse? Who could shoot from the horse? Who could, right? That's what it is.
Human nature and competition.
Yeah.
But I still find it funny, in my opinion. It's like, humans, we're just we're just obsessed with speed. It's like we try to find who's the fastest human, who's the fastest horse, who's the fastest bike, who's the fastest car, who's the fastest this. Yeah. Like the freaking land speed record. Like that stuff is insane and just super fun to think, where we're like, we humans, we want to go fast. We go fast.
Well, because the faster you go, the farther you can go.
That is true.
Because like our problem right now isn't that our technology can't go far. Our technology can travel to the light years, right? We won't last though, but the technology will last. The vessel will last. So our only hiccup is speed. So hence our fascination with speed.
That is true. And speed is like one of my favorite things when it comes to like anime. When you have like super fast characters, I'm like, yes. Yeah. Speed is so good. Not the drug. I'm not a World War II soldier.
Yeah. So yeah, we could talk about cars more. If you guys like cars, let us know. I love cars. He loves cars. Oh, you never told me your supercar.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna say probably like a Ferrari. I know it's such a basic answer, but I'm like, There's something about Ferraris, dude. Even though even though Ferrari themselves are such douches when it comes to like litigation, only certain people get approved for Ferraris. There's some Ferraris that you look at those things and you're like, that's a good car.
Why you have to copy me?
You asked me first, so technically you're
it's a Ferrari.
copying me.
Mine's a Ferrari. I don't know what model I would take anymore. It used to be the Enzo.
Okay.
But people say like, oh, Ferraris are douchey, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's not about, it's about exclusivity, okay? In my opinion, like, it's like not everyone
can own
a Rolex, you know? It's not about like, oh, I have it, so I'm better than you. If you think that way, then you need to work on yourself.
Then you're a douchebag.
Because the people who are obtaining these things, they're not thinking about that stuff. That's why they obtain them. Okay? Because they could care less what you think. Right? There's this exercise that I think everyone should do. And it's to show really how much people do not care about you. And it really is like, oh, if like no one cares, then like, why do I care what they think? Mm-hmm. Right? Go into a store, Target, Walmart, wherever, and just lay down in the aisle. Lay down in the aisle. In the middle of the aisle, just lay there. And count how many people just walk over you. And it will put it into perspective. You'll get one golden soul that goes, are you okay? And you go, yeah, I'm just taking a break. And they'll go, all right. And they'll also walk away. As long as they know you're not dying, they're going to walk away too. Okay?
We should just smash cuts of footage of me on the floor and see what happens.
Dude, I'm not kidding. And like 90% of the time, no one's going to care. And then you're going to get up and you walk around the store and leave. And anyone that saw you laying on the floor that day, within 24 hours, they're going to forget about you.
Because it's the spotlight effect.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that the spotlight's on them, and then it's the paradox of, okay, if everybody thinks the spotlight's on them, then they're not really paying attention to anybody else, so hence, nobody gives a rat's tail about you.
Like, even, like, a celebrity. Like, I forget the effect they call it, but it's like the burning candle effect. They burn hot, they burn bright, but as soon as they burn out, you forget about them. Mm-hmm. Like, think about some of the biggest actors in the 90s. The Friends cast. Does anyone except maybe
Jennifer Aniston
do any of them? Do they even still matter? Do any of them matter?
Well, in recent
Courtney Cox was supposed to matter for a long time. She was one of the greatest actresses of her time.
Really?
Courtney Cox? Yeah.
That's the thing. I can't think of her in anything else besides Friends.
Exactly. Super famous for that one thing. She was in a couple of comedies, a couple with Adam Sandler. I don't know if it's a couple, but she was in some other stuff too, right? And she's gorgeous, right? So like, what happened? What happened? No one really cares.
No, I think Matt LeBlanc had more longevity than her.
Anybody, dude, anyone. Like even like look at
Brendan Fraser. Well, he had a revitalization after The Whale and memes.
Like there's just but even then, like it's still like what I'm saying is like everyone thinks that like. And why are we talking about this? I kind of like completely went off on a tangent, I think.
Brain? I don't know. What were we talking about? We can't go back on footage. That's the funny thing. Like, we can't be like, oh, let's scrub back. What were we talking about?
Oh my gosh, dude.
We were douchebags with the Ferrari and like the spotlight effect and all that stuff. We found it.
My point is that even if people think that, that's because they think the spotlight's on them. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they're in their head about it. Whereas in reality, like, I'm driving my Ferrari because I like it. I earned it. I want it.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
It's like some effect to that. It's like you'll get some people be like, ooh, like cool car. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Now, granted, there are some people who like look for that. They're not gonna have that Ferrari for very long.
And to say like one of my favorite lines in all of cinema, you pretentious douchebag.
So my car is also Ferrari. And it's because of the exclusivity. Because if you don't, Just so you know, if you don't race your Ferrari, if you don't go to the Ferrari track events, they remove your ability to own a Ferrari.
Ooh.
So when you see people wearing the Ferrari jackets and they have the Ferrari watch, it's because they're going to track events. They're racing their Ferraris.
And they're pushing it.
And I have a feeling it's because Ferrari's like, we don't want stagnant Ferraris just sitting around, because then it makes their image look like, oh, those are the people that buy them who think they can go fast, who think they can race, but they don't do nothing except parking in their driveway.
No, and isn't...
You know what I mean?
And if I remember hearing correctly, Ferrari only makes cars to fuel their Formula One team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only make cars so that way they can invest in Formula One.
So it's just like, of course, that is the heart of their brand. Everything around it is going to just work.
It's all racing.
Sort of thing.
It's all about racing. It's all about speed, racing, and racing heritage, which is honorable. And in my opinion, you stand up for what you believe, right? And not a lot of companies or people do that anymore. So it's like you have that, like, oh, they're just like, people say, oh, they're just proud, they have pride, this and that. And it's like, yeah, they do.
Because they don't heritage.
They don't have to like prove anything to. They prove it to. The only thing they're proving it to is themselves. Like they're upset when they lose. They're upset when they don't.
When they're not performing the way
they don't make a vehicle that lives up to their standards. You know. So yeah, Ferrari is my choice too as a luxury car, and it's a luxury race car. It's not just a luxury car. I can't do. Like, I can drive a regular basic truck. I can drive a regular basic SUV. I can drive a regular basic minivan or whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, but if I'm in a sports car, it needs to be a sports car.
You gotta drive that puppy.
Yeah, it needs to be like, if I were to buy a sports car right now off the lot, brand new, the only car I have in my eye right now, as far as a sports car goes, would be the Supra.
Oh, the new generation?
Yeah, new gen Supra.
The new gen Supra has started to grow on me a little bit. I didn't like it when it first came out because, of course, I like the old look of it.
It's a beautiful car.
It's a really, really good advancement. I think I just kind of was like, oh, I love the look of the old one. This one looks very different. I don't like change. But I'm like, you know what? It's a good car. People can make it look pretty good as well.
But when you stack them side by side, the new one and the old one has more like of that Japanese retro like heartbeat, you know what I mean? And it sounds like a Japanese car, right? It's like it just has that throaty, whiny, high revving motor, right? And then you hear the turbo spooling, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's
when it hits you.
That's that's the nostalgia. Like, you know, you hear the nostalgia comes from sound, sight, and smell, right? And so like you hear that, and you're like, I remember that, right? And with the new one, it sounds awesome too. My only thing about the new one, which I do not like at all, but I will deal with it because everything else, they engineer and manufacture everything and test in Japan, especially the Gazoo racing one, is I don't like that the motor is a BMW.
Really? I didn't know that part.
Yep. And this is what they said. And I hate that they said this. They said this. The lead engine engineer, the motor engineer, for when the Supra was being developed, said this: we weighed our options against BMW's inline six. Or I don't know if it's a V6 or inline six. I think it's an inline six. I think it is.
Editor.
Yeah. But either way, they tested and weighed their options against other existing motors that are being manufactured. And this guy said, the audacity, he said, we could not make a better motor than what BMW was currently making. And I was like, that sounds like you just gave up, dude.
Yeah. What happened to... what was that one engine that was
Do you really think Toyota would not fund something to be like, we're going to make a better one? Then they'll be like, okay.
Was it Toyota? Come on, who was it that had like that one engine where you could sit at 9,000 RPM and that puppy that's when you could finally like shift it and be just fine?
Well, Honda was known for super high revving motors, but even the Type Rs went up to, even the NSX Type R went up to, I think the NSX Type R got close to 9,000.
Yeah, like it would have these crazy RPMs. It would just withstand all of that. You could just like, take it on.
It wasn't Toyota. Toyota never made really high revving motors like that. They were like mid-range power. and then which is good because I don't know, Toyota and Honda. I'm always like flip flopping on them. Like I love Honda, like I really do. The Type R, the Civic Type R, the Integra Type R, NSX Type R, the NSX. I think it's an A spec. I had an RSX Type S, which is a Honda Integra DC5. You don't know what I'm talking about, huh? With the K20A2 motor and the K20A JDM head.
The engine, I recognize. Pero lo demás, estás hablando francés. So entonces no te entiendo.
Yeah. Oh, man. If we talk about cars more, we get my buddy Alfonso here. We'll talk about cars until way later than what it is now.
I bet.
Dude, but yeah, man. We could talk about cars forever, but
we could. But
that's why we're otakus, because
we like a bunch of things.
Just anime. It's all tied together. But like, I remember I was like, my dream was to dude, I used to read. You won't know this. Any of these. I used to read Import Tuner, Super Street, Modified Mag, and what's the last one?
At least two of those sounds like gun magazines.
I think it was Street Glow. I think it was or Showstoppers. I don't remember the last one. No, they're all tuner magazines.
I know. I just said two of them sounds like gun magazines.
I like guns too.
Guns are fun.
But yeah, that's man, it like that's how I started. Was like reading magazines, and I was just like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. Like, what are all these parts? Where do they go? What do they do? Like, what is that? Like, is that a wheel? Is it like, I was looking at calipers and disc brakes and beaded brake lines and Greddy HKS turbo kits, and I was like, it looked like a Gundam kit. It really did. It looked like a Gundam kit. I'm like, this is my car. Like, that's pretty cool. And then, dude, my first car was a Honda Accord, so it was nothing fast, nothing nice, so nothing crazy, right? And I was like, can I put a turbo on my Honda Accord? And my buddy Alfonso, he's the one that got me. I liked cars. He's the one that like taught me like, okay, this is the culture though, and this is what racers do. And I was like, okay. And he's like, don't put a turbo on your Honda Accord. He goes, sell it and buy an Integra. And I went, okay. And I'm like, I gotta get a better one than him. So I got the newer version of what he had. But I bought a freaking bucket, man. I mean, I did all this working at Target.
Ooh.
Okay? So you can imagine where all my money went. And I was just like, I got into it deep, man, and my transmission blew. I had to pay for a $2,000 transmission. Just the transmission cost so much, not the labor to put it in. And I was making $9.20 something cents an hour. Damn. But I did it.
Yeah. If you want it, you go for it.
I did it. And then I think I had one of the first sleepers in the valley.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Because my car, that Integra, the paint was just busted. It had a bullet hole in the trunk. It did. I thought it was the keyhole at first. And then my brother was looking at it. He goes, that's not where the keyhole goes. I'm looking at this picture, and he's like looking, and he's like, I think. And then we looked, and there was a hole in the trunk, and then it went through the back seat and into the dashboard in the front. So someone shot at that car. I was like, I bought it from some sketchy dudes, dude. Paperwork was legit though, so I was like,
ghetto
whatever.
car.
I did, dude. It was bad.
Okay, there's two things. I know that there's one type of race car, I don't know what it is, where you can actually build it yourself, like an IKEA or a Lego set, where they give you all the parts, everything, the instruction, you go build the whole puppy yourself. Editor, you're working overtime, look for it. Then the second one is, I've heard that it's funner to drive a slow car fast than it is to drive a fast car slow.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Because like, I mean, the car I have right now, I'm not gonna say what it is because then they'll find us. It's not a fast car at all, but I pass everybody on the freeway.
There's something
I when I need to get somewhere, I get there. Like, so I'm just like, it's fun to drive it. Mm-hmm. But the other day I hit a turn so hard and I whipped it back. I was doing like an S turn. So I came this way and then I came this way and I paddle shifted down. I just heard, I was like, what the heck? I look at the traction controls blinking. I'm like, you stop complaining. I'm like, literally like my 15-year-old car over this would not have, because it would have just rolled probably.
It's like, watch this drift and then dude, I wanted to take it.
I've always, sorry not to cut you off, but I've always driven every single car I've owned to its edge at some point. Like I've always been like, okay, that's its limit. Like I if I do any more, I'm gonna break it, or it's gonna, or like it needs better suspension, or it needs an upgrade or whatever, so I can actually do more to it. Yeah, because I had a Miata.
I wanted a Miata.
I had an NAM Miata.
NAM Miata.
So NA is okay. Just Brandon,
you're gonna have to put on like a professor hat and have like a whiteboard and just be like, okay, this is what this is. Do you understand? I'm there like in a chair. What I'm talking
about is they're considered like, I don't know if they're chassis names or codes or whatever, but NA is the chassis of that Miata. Like,
oh, okay.
So NA is, I don't know why, that's just what they called it. Then they have an NB, which NBs came with the more circular headlights. Okay. The NAs have the pop-up ones.
The classic.
Now they have something completely different. The new Miata is actually kind of big. It looks like a Lotus almost, which is still nice. Anyway, I had one of those. DC2 is a chassis code for an Integra. Okay. DC5 is the next variation of that. There's chassis code. Some people refer to it by the motor stamp too. So I had a DC5 K20A, K20A2.
That's almost as long as like a normal Hispanic's last name. Just like 5 different names back to back. It's like, what's your car?
But I also had an engine cold air intake, a Type R intake manifold, a K20A, which is a Japanese, a JDM market head on my block that we replaced. I had advanced cam timing and Type R camshafts. And I had a S2000 exhaust system.
Cool.
Plus, I also had the JDM gear ratio transmission because my Trinity blew, and I sourced the transmission from a supplier, and it's called his name is Ems JDM, and I bought it from him, and he's like, I got a Japanese one, and I was like, but it was pricey. He goes, otherwise you're gonna have to wait till I find one, and it's gonna take me months. And I was like, I need my car. So
I think that place is still around because I think that's where I was looking for. I don't know. I was just looking for engines. And I saw like a WRX engine.
Me and my brother we knew these guys like as like friends. Like we would go to car meets with them. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we knew everybody.
Hey, can you hook me up with a new engine?
He wouldn't give it to me for free still. Yeah.
Friend discount.
So, what was the point of that we were talking about?
Slow cars fast.
Yeah.
Or fun.
So slow cars are fun. Yeah. And fast cars, driving them slow
sucks.
It's like when you buy like these, unfortunately, there's people, they buy these 5.0 Mustangs, and the 5.0 Mustangs are fast. They're like little rockets with wheels, and they buy them and then they drive them to the store.
That's really it.
And it's like, why? Like, why even buy one? You just want to hear the sound of the motor every day? Like, I guess that's kind of a...
But at the same point, it's just
like... There's a lot of people who buy them and they just leave them in the garage.
Which is like the worst. It's like, I get it. Like, cool, you finally bought it. But like, if you're not going to use it, it's like...
Let me show you this.
It's annoying. But like, the funny thing is, like, with Suki in my car, sometimes I get her up to 70. I don't know if it's the wheel alignment, but my wheel starts like wobbling, like my steering wheel starts shaking. So I'm like there just like, if I'm hitting hyperspeed, I'm like, okay, just don't go. And then sometimes I'll be hitting 80 and then she's like perfectly still. And I'm like, make up your mind, woman.
Yeah, this is my buddy Alfonso. He's the one that really got me into cars. Like, well, not into cars, but he taught me more about cars, like about racing. He's the one that taught me how to heel toe, double clutch, all that.
So, again, for my birthday,
this is his current car.
So do you wanna go steal it?
It's an Evo 8.
I see that,
and it's right-hand drive. He imported it from Japan.
I want to import a K truck. I want to import a little K truck. That is one thing. Yeah, but another thing,
it's an Evo 8.
I want to learn I'm learning how to heel toe, and it's different with like different shoes for like how you can do it because of how it is. Well, like today, my birthday, I dressed up. Like I'm like, you know, if I go out, I'm gonna look nice. So I wore these boots. I know it doesn't match with shorts. I was wearing pants, but I tried heel toeing with these, and I did it wrong, and my foot got stuck under the plastic under my my steering wheel. So I'm there with my heel on the gas, and I'm like, crap, my foot is stuck, and I had to rip my foot out. I'm like, okay, put it back.
Oh gosh.
I was like, I can heel toe in these. I'm figuring it out. Look at this thing.
Dude, it's like when people think like, oh, like why do these racers have racing shoes? Was like it matters, especially when like you're going that fast and you have to hit the pedal at a certain time and you can't slip off of it and your life's on the line. It's like your shoes better do what they got to do.
You know what's the easiest pair for me to heel toe in? Like, well, heel toe. You could probably be the judge of it if I'm doing it properly. But what feels like the most like best variation for me? Mm-hmm. My chunkless.
Because you're able to slide your foot around in it
so easily. Yeah. Like I just wear my chanclas and I just can perfectly get it down to when I'm.
That just means you need shoes that are have more dexterity. You probably shoes like these are horrible to do it in. Mm-hmm. I don't. They don't move at all. I mean, you could get around, I guess, but good ones like suede, like soft suede shoes.
Soft suede shoes.
So like
okay,
and that are like form fitting. So like Pumas would be.
Oh,
good.
Okay.
Pumas are good for that. Converse.
I'm actually curious.
And Converse are really good because the toe is rubber and hard. So if you kick the pedal or you push down on it, it's not going to flex too much. Mm-hmm. And they move easy. They're very thin.
They're skater shoes.
They feel like you're not really wearing anything.
Okay, when you used to race, did you have like a ghetto like setup when it came to like, okay, here are my racing shoes. They're just like Pumas. It's like, here's my racing gloves. It's like some random thing.
Dude, I didn't wear gloves. I did not wear gloves. We didn't have I mean, well, when we were at the track, yes. We had gloves, helmet, goggles. We weren't street racers though. We didn't do that stupid stuff where like you go and you do street racing, stupid drag races or whatever. It was like we go to the canyons and we would have fun, right? And there's always some there that would like do something and they always ended up upside down. They did, and then we were like, "You good?" Yeah, I'm good. All right. Go with the cops. We're gone. We're not about because we ran a car club, and we didn't want to be associated with that stuff, you know, because they would just follow us because the social media at the time was very open and everything wasn't private. So you would post something and people would be like, "Oh, that's where they're gonna go," and then they would show up and we're like, "Oh, great, these guys are back," right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, we helped run the car meets in the San Fernando Valley. The responsible ones, not the one at Burbank, the one where like everyone showed up and like they ended up on like the Channel 5 News.
Jeez.
Yeah, they did. They like because the Burbank.
Are you talking about the one exit?
No, it's a what's it called? The center. Oh my gosh, the Burbank where like all the planes, the airport.
Oh,
center.
Bob Hope Airport.
Yeah, but there's a whole shopping center there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know. Like literally, you get off and then it's
Empire Center.
Empire Center. Oh, because I was gonna say like there's the AMC, the Barnes and Noble, the old Hooters that's gone now.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Well, it's like before that.
No, I'm talking about the Empire exit.
Empire.
Burbank Empire Center. Krispy Kreme. They used to call it the Krispy Kreme.
That one.
There wasn't a Hooters there.
No. The next exit is like where
the BJ's is.
No, that's too far. So wasn't Empire that exit, and then they paved it, and then now it's the one further up by Krispy Kreme. That exit's gone, and then it's the one with the Barnes and Noble and Hooters and AMC. Because I know that there used to be an exit in between those two. That's why.
Maybe I don't really specifically remember, but that's what I'm saying. Like that whole shopping center. Mm-hmm. Those guys, that was the stupid one. Those guys, they shut down the whole center. Everyone showed up. We showed up. They invited us. And then next thing we know, we got Burbank PD all over the place. And we're like, really? Like, oh yeah, this is really smart. But that's because we had doing donuts in the parking lot and all that. So when that happens, the cops are like, okay, no more. Mm-hmm. But when we did it, we would just do it, In-N-Out meets. So In-N-Out loved it because we had a lot of friends who worked at In-N-Out. And so we knew the managers. And we'd be like, hey, we're going to have a car meet here. They're like, I don't know, you blah, 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 you need a permit. And we're like, dude, we're in high school. Like, we're not going to be able to get permits,
and all that stuff.
And they're like, okay, as long as everyone comes in and buys a burger or gets something to eat, then you're just here eating. Yeah. And we're like, cool, loophole. And so we did it. And dude, there was one time we were right here. Not right here. We were at a Northridge In-N-Out.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about.
And my brother knew someone that worked there, and so that guy talked to the manager, and he goes, hey, my friends are going to bring like 50 cars.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different In-N-Out.
The one by the Costco. It's a Costco in that parking lot in Northridge.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I was thinking of a completely different one. Yeah, I was thinking of the one by North Hills.
He goes, okay. He goes, they're all going to buy food. And then we're like, okay. He's like, that's fine. As long as they buy something, no one can tell them to leave. And then like, okay. And so we all show up. And our cars were loud. You know, they were loud. And but they weren't obnoxious like lawnmowers. You know, they sounded good, throaty. You know, they were nice. And we're all out there, we're eating, and the cops show up. And he's like, you guys all need to leave, right? You can't be here, you can't be doing this and that. And I'm looking around, and everyone's just standing by their car, just having a burger, like no one's doing nothing, right? And I'm like, okay, no one's doing anything dumb. So I walked up to him, and he goes, can I help you? And I'm like, well, I'm here to see if I can help you. I'm like, I'm not like you. Well, I don't understand why you want us to leave. And he goes, you guys over here using up the whole parking lot, having your little car meet. I'm like, the lowriders do it all the time, and I don't see any cops telling them to leave. And then he goes, and by the way, we all have receipts. We bought food,
so it's just like paying customers.
We're still eating. Like, you're gonna kick us out because we're eating? And he's like, there's not enough. I'm like, there's not enough room for all of us in the store. So the manager said it's cool for out here eating in the parking lot. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go have a word with the manager. And I'm like, okay, well,
have fun.
He comes back, he just looks at me, just walks by me, and just goes into a squad car and leaves. But they're all waiting outside of the parking lot because they're assuming someone's gonna be dumb and just peel out and take off or do something or speed. So all we did was tell everyone, hey, they're posted over there, so if you guys do anything, you're on your own. Yep. And they're like, okay, look it up. But yeah.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
It was fun. It was really fun. We were responsible about it. And when we wanted to race, like really race, we went to the track. I never took my car to the track because I got rid of it at that point. But my brother started working for a company called ASR, and they make Honda parts.
Oh, okay.
So race spec Honda parts. So they do subframes, end links, suspension, just different stuff for like under the carriage of the vehicles. And the owner, I won't say his name. People on here, if they know what ASR is, if they know the owner, they know who he is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you want high quality race parts, ASR. And then
not sponsored. Yeah.
If my brother and his buddy Chris ever make actual race parts, then we'll tell them to go there too. Because they're making parts, but they're making parts for like camping right now. They're not really doing racing stuff.
Okay.
Well, at least James is. Chris, he's manufacturing anything. They're both engineers, and Chris has his own company now too. Monarch Manufacturing, actually.
Not sponsored again. But sponsored. You have the opportunity to sponsor us. So that our audience will go to you.
No, we're always going to mention our friend stuff for free.
Oh, for sure.
Just like Brandon's channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they, we would go to the racetrack when we actually wanted to race. And there was a couple times we got guys that would come up to us and be like, oh, like, you guys, this and that, you don't want to race. You guys are too scared to race. Let's go do it right now. Do it right now. And I'm like, I always go to them and be like,
but cars, brooms, and right now I'm currently dreaming of sleeping in a Lightning McQueen bed because, as I said, it's tomorrow's, and I'm tired, and I'm 23 and old, and I would like to sleep.
23 and old.
I'm 23 and old.
Yeah, I'm tired too, and I'm just like, okay, because our last thing we're gonna talk about were just sports and.
We're going to talk about sports and just one other little thing to close it out, but we can save that for next time.
So the majority of the conversation was your birthday and cars.
Birthday cars.
Okay, so let's just finish it on cars real quick. We'll just do like the next like 5-10 minutes of cars, and then we'll end it, and then that's it. And then you just cut down some parts of the cars.
Oh, I was just gonna end it straight up like that, just saying I'm dreaming about a sports bed, a Lightning McQueen bed, and I'm going to sleep.
But how are you gonna end it with that? We were just talking about something.
The magic of video editing.
Oh.
Or if not, this is all staying in. Most of this will be staying in then, I guess. But finish it. Okay, how are we gonna finish Cars in the next 5 to 10 minutes? Is my question. We'll end on something.
Talk about because I've been the one talking about Cars. You like why do you like Cars?
I'm just listening to you. Well, one, I like it because Fast and the Furious. Two, okay, I also like it. Donut Media, how it used to be a few years ago. It's a YouTube channel.
Donuts, right?
Donut Media, yeah.
Oh, I just know it as donuts. It's like black and white, right?
Yeah, black. No,
black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
Yeah. Okay, I know they are.
So yeah, Donut, I really like them as well. And like they were kind of getting me into it. Like when James Pumphrey, when he was doing his like bumper to bumper, up to speed, or when they would do Money Pit, high low, like those kind of things. I'm like, okay, cars are really interesting. It's an aspect I've always liked because the first movie I remember ever watching was I think Too Fast, Too Furious. I watched plenty of other movies, but like the first movie I remember watching was Too Fast, Too Furious. And I was like, oh my goodness, I like these cars. Of course, the Skyline. Everybody loves the Skyline in that movie.
Not everybody. You either love it or you hate it. It's like Kobe.
Oh, that is definitely love or hate. So I'm like, I really like the Skyline. I'm like, okay. And I did like the Evo. I'm not gonna lie. People are like, that thing is ugly.
The yellow one?
Yeah. Some people are like, that's ugly. And I'm like, I like it.
The Evo 9 is sick, dude. The Evo 9 is sick. Like from the 90s, sick.
It was so sick he has a lisp.
Sick. It's so 90s.
You became Mike Tyson. No. Yeah. That's it. We're done. It's just like as soon as you say Diddy's in it, I'm like, no. It just cuts to a freaking like the screen when it happens with TV, like when it finished airing, like the color screen. Nah, and then those will be cut after it. It's just like, okay, now after speaking to our lawyers, we're back on the air. But like seeing those cars, I'm like, this is really cool. I'm like, and for the longest time, like sports took up my personality. Like that was literally soccer was my whole personality for so long. So like now that I stopped playing soccer, like at that level, I was like, what do I like? I'm like, cars are cool. Got a donut. First car I wanted was a Miata. Like when I saw it from Money Pit, I'm like, dude, a Miata, like that's a good like little first car. Family wouldn't let me. My aunt's like, it's a suicide car. My mother's like, no, you got to get something different. So then I ended up getting Suki, who I love, which is a good first car. She's going to last maybe 1 or 2 more years. I love her, but I'm eventually going to have to move on from my first love.
But she's leaking on my floor.
She is leaking in his driveway. I got to fix my head gaskets and a few other things in that car. Dude, I got to get a new cats, which is so annoying. I have 2 catalytic converters on that thing.
You were going to get no more cats.
So for context, I have a cat. Well, it's my sister's cat named Hanji, like from Attack on Titan. No, and my family is like, huh?
This is what you do. You cut the cats out, you weld it with no cats, and then you pull the light bulb out from the check engine light. Race car.
Noted. And then California is like, is this legal?
And it's like, no.
I actually know a guy where I could just go and he'll just be like, I check. You just do my smog check.
Everyone knows a guy like that.
Everybody knows the guy that can do it. It's the best.
Those guys last like 5 years.
And then it's just like, oh crap, now we gotta get to the new one.
And then you gotta call and be like, so where'd you move?
It's like, what's the new location? You're 2 hours away, we're going. All right, I got this. Just don't get pulled over in that time. Then get the smog check done. But my family's like, should we get another cat? She's by herself. I'm like, I love cats, but I don't want another one. But if I did, I'd probably get like a little black cat. I don't know what I'd name him yet. Maybe Abyss. Because it's like, I don't know, it's black. It's like the Abyss. I think it'd be cool.
I'm just laughing because you actually started talking about cats.
Hey, you brought it up. I'm like,
it's just a joke.
I like cats. Cats are cool. I like dogs too. As I said. We're not finishing in 5 minutes.
Oh my God, Brandon.
It's tomorrow's.
He's like having a conversation all by himself. Like, I'm not even a part of it.
Okay, cut off the cats. Weld it. Got it. Fast and Furious. I like cars. Cars go broom broom. They go fast, and me go yay. And that's basically all of it when it comes to it. And cats go meow, and I am like, you are adorable. You are fluffy. And dogs go bark, and that is adorable. And the fox, we don't know what the fox says. But anyways, I'm sober.
It's a good thing I didn't give you that sake.
Oh my gosh. That's the thing. When I get buzzed, I don't go like all hyper and goofy. Like I am aware that I'm buzzed and I get super like, I get hyper aware and I'm like, okay, just don't screw up and don't trip. Like I feel like I'm very self-conscious of my body. Like, okay, be
So you're
aware
like
what
a
you're
girl
doing.
wearing heels.
Huh?
You didn't get that?
Like a girl wearing heels? No. I was just having a conversation with myself. My brain is...
Huh?
My brain is not even
Obviously,
in
Brian
Timbuktu.
has never seen a girl in heels.
I still don't get it.
He's more the sneaker and sweat type.
Ponytail and a baseball cap?
Little too lackadaisical. For me.
For you. Teach their own. This is getting edited out. I'm editing this part out. There was parts that could stay in. You guys have no context for this part that I'm saying right now. It is getting edited out. I am not keeping it in.
When Brandon doesn't make eye contact with you, it's because he's nervous.
I'm scared. That's it. We're ending the video. Coming to you from a dumpy little garage in San Fernando Valley.
I'm Ryan, and he's Brandon.
And this has been Bridging Otacos.
I think you're losing it because you're tired.
Dude,
it's 1-1-1.
It is 1-1-1. Well, technically, it's 12-1-1.
No, it's 1-1-1. That's the accurate time.
Really?
Is it?
Is it accurate?
Oh, good. I thought it was later. Oh, okay. We have time then. We're okay.
Is it accurate?
It's cold in here, man. You're not cold?
I think I'm cold.
Are your hands cold?
I'm not cold. Yeah, my hands are cold. I just don't feel cold.
Let me see if it's colder. Yeah, you're pretty cold.
Yeah, but I don't feel cold. I feel refreshed. He wouldn't survive in the Antarctic. He wouldn't survive the trip.
No one survived in the Antarctic, stupid.
You wouldn't survive the trip to the South Pole. Only real men can do that.